Looking at this schematically, there's one huge defensive edge for Philadelphia over the Chiefs' offense. And that is when they play cover one man. I saw this on the 33rd team. It was really good. They broke down the coverage stats and all that for these two teams and how it is. So Mahomes has really struggled against cover one man looks, and the Eagles' defense has been very good against it. So expect to see a lot of that with their two great corners, Slay and Bradbury. The question is, what are they going to do against Kelsey? That is the real question, and I think that's going to be what's interesting and how we're going to see them treat that. Because it's not like Slay or Bradbury are even big enough to go up against Kelsey anyway, and that's going to be really interesting. And of course, the best way to beat man coverage is when you have just a guy who you can't cover one-on-one, and that is what Travis Kelsey is. But a guy that I think is really interesting to keep an eye on is Sky Moore, who has been very good in man coverage. Sky Moore has been one of the main targets because of obviously that game-breaking speed, and Slay and Bradbury, neither of them are fast enough to keep up with a guy like Sky Moore. So keep an eye on some potential big plays there for Moore. Looking at straight up in the trenches, the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is about as good of an O-line as I've seen probably since the mid-2010s Cowboys, and this one might be even better. And you're going to want to see how they attack that. Of course, the Chiefs' front line did great against Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's O-line and Philadelphia's O-line is a little bit different, to say the least. So we're going to see what Chris Jones can do. Of course, you have a lot of people out there who are a lot of people in like the advanced stats world or the film world saying Chris Jones, man, kind of deserves a lot more credit, some more defensive player of the year love. And I personally, I think Nick Bosa did deserve it, but I do think Chris Jones had an unbelievable year, and I think he's a guy that's going to have an incredible game. And then you have all of that. You want to pick all the X factors and this and that, but there's a reason why everyone talks about the quarterbacks, because they're pretty damn important too. Patrick Mahomes, if the Chiefs win this game, what Patrick Mahomes is going to do this evening is going to live as one of the greatest performances in Super Bowl history. I think he has to be that good. He literally needs to have a legendary performance tonight for the Chiefs to have a chance. I think he's going to give it a fight. Will it be enough? I'll tell you in a minute. But I mean, he's going to have to be that good because I don't think they're going to do a great job at stopping Philadelphia's offense. I think they're going to do a good job of controlling the clock, as Sirianni's done an amazing job. Nick Sirianni has been unbelievable this year, from his fourth down decision-making to play calling to time of possession. I mean, he has mastered the QB sneak. Let me pull up this stat here. It's unbelievable how effective the QB sneak has been this year for Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts has either gotten a first down or a touchdown 30 out of 34 times they have attempted the QB sneak. They've attempted the QB sneak 34 times. They've succeeded 30 out of those times. Think about that for a second. Think about any play in your playbook that you have ran that many times and have that much of a success rate on it. It's as close to an unblockable play as you get, to the point where don't be surprised. I don't know if you'll see something improved or not, but don't be surprised if you see in March the competition committee some kind of proposal about some kind of change of the QB sneak. It could be the blockers pushing from behind, trying to outlaw that, because that used to not be allowed. Now it's allowed because, I mean, that play is borderline unfair for the defense, especially when you have an O-line like that. You have a guy like Jalen Hurts who has great vision as well. But Mahomes has to be special. Kelsey has to be special. Sky Moore, again, I think is a guy that has to have probably the best game of his rookie year. My expectations were a lot higher than what he did this year, but really I think a lot of that to do with his usage and, of course, his health as well. He was banged up a lot this year. Devontae Smith, I think, needs to have a big role. These rookie corners, Trent McDuffie in particular, needs to have a shutdown day. But Steve Spagnuolo has done a great job. He's been doing it for a long time, so definitely have faith in him to think of something, even with the defensive talent not being great. The question is, will Kansas City be able to overcome? Because I don't think there's any question that just on paper, just when you look at these two teams, there's no question about it. I don't think it's particularly close. Philadelphia has more talent on it. However, as we all know, that does not always mean that that team is going to win. So the question is, will Kansas City do enough? Will Patrick Mahomes do enough to will his team do a victory? 34-27, I say no. I think Philadelphia will take this. I think Hassan Reddick actually is going to have a great day. I think against a guy like Andrew Wiley, I think I mean, when Michael said 2.5 sacks and 4 something, that's Von Miller in Super Bowl 50 type numbers. I mean, that is what Michael's talking about. And I don't necessarily know if he'll do that, but I do think he'll have his presence felt today. Keep an eye on Josh Sweat as well, Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham. They are the first team ever to have 4 players in a defense with 10-plus sacks in a single season. I mean, this defense is incredible. So keep an eye on that. It's not just Reddick. I mean, it's that whole defense. And obviously, as we talked about in the back end with Bradbury and Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson's been a ball hawk as well. That Eagles defense is incredible. We know how good that offense is as well. Jason Kelce does beat Travis for the first time, by the way, because Travis is 3-0 against Jason in the NFL. Today, Jason gets the sweetest one of them all, takes home his second Super Bowl title, and the Eagles win 34-27. Should be a great one. I'm very excited.